Hello guys, welcome to another episode of CUDA Education. So today we are continuing our discussion of UV texture coordinates or UV coordinates. And specifically now we are trying to figure out what the orientation is for texture coordinates or UV texture coordinates in Apple Metal specifically. So in the previous episode, that's Clean Slate 3.10, we discussed UV texture coordinates, and then we discussed sort of the origin coordinates for OpenGL and DirectX, right? But obviously we are concerned with Apple Metal here. So in Apple Metal, the origin of the coordinates, the 0, 0, where you start, you start the UV mapping conversation. It starts in the top left corner, right? So let's just formally go through it, and then we'll dive into it some more. This is different from OpenGL and DirectX, right? So in Apple Metal, texture coordinates use a top left origin. That is, 0, 0 is the top left corner of the texture, and 1, 1 is the bottom right corner. So 0, 0 is the top left corner, and 1, 1 is the bottom right corner. Okay? So V increases downward. So basically, U and V. So as V increases, it goes down. Okay? That's the convention in Apple Metal. This matches DirectX's convention and is opposite the OpenGL legacy/legacy metal-free GL, where V equals 0 is at the bottom. So basically, the Apple Metal convention matches DirectX's convention. I misspoke earlier. The Apple Metal convention matches DirectX's convention, but it's opposite of OpenGL, right? So a few extra related specifics for metal. The same top left convention applies to metals. Normalized device coordinates only partially. We will not get into that right now because we don't want to confuse the conversation. Right. So let's not confuse the conversation with this piece right here. We'll just skip over this because I don't want to confuse you guys. But let's get to the most common practical got you. If you load an image asset authored for OpenGL or feed in geometry UVs unwrapped in a tool that assumes bottom left origin, like Blender, textures come out vertically flipped. You fix it either by flipping V in the shader, flipping at texture load time, or adjusting the sample/image orientation. MTK texture loader has an dot origin option to control this at load. So yeah, so basically Apple's origin is top left for 0, 0. In OpenGL, it's the opposite. So if you have an image asset that's originally made for OpenGL, or assumes its use in Blender or something like that, you're gonna have to do some adjustments, as what this thing says right here, because Apple Metal assumes a different orientation for the mapping. So think of this skin as being applied incorrectly to this building. So like the door skin wouldn't be here, it would be like, I don't know, up here or something, I don't know. It wouldn't be where it's supposed to be, right? It might be up here in the air, right? Which wouldn't make sense. So that is this discussion of adjustments to texture coordinates for Apple Metal and the Apple Metal top left origin for texture coordinates. You guys figure out the language, okay? But this is CUDA Education. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.